Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are back on a Tuesday night to celebrate the penultimate episode of Secret Invasion, season 1. Who knows? Maybe they're probably just one. It's probably just going to be just a one shot. You're probably right. Yeah. So we've already got some people hanging out in the chat. Andrew, Brian, how's it going? So Garrison, Secret Invasion. First of all, how has your week been celebrating Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer? Before we dive in,
Mikey.
Before we dive in,
Mikey's never going to talk about Secret Invasion, is he?
Can I just say?
No, I am.
Can I just say, my favorite director of all time? That's been the case since I was growing up.
Yeah.
I loved. Yeah. I literally grew up watching his Batman films. Then when I think I turned 15, my dad showed me Memento because he was like, "This is an awesome film that you got to see."
Yep.
I grew up watching Inception. I grew up watching Prestige. I was in high school. I heard about this film called Interstellar. I didn't watch it at first, and then I did not long after. But at first I was like, I don't know that I want to watch that thing. I guess I didn't associate Nolan as much with his films until about late high school when Interstellar came out, and I was like, okay, I kind of like this guy, and he is my favorite director.
Garrison, a very important question. Very important, Chris, because here in town, the Christopher Nolan fans dress up in a full suit when they go see Oppenheimer. Did you dress in a suit?
I wore my Dunkirk shirt.
Oh, Garrison,
we saw
failed.
There were like 12 guys.
12 guys,
like teenagers.
Yes,
I love that. Yeah.
All in suits.
I do not have a suit. I want a hat like Oppie has.
That's a pretty cool hat.
It was awesome.
I loved
and then we ran into them at Waffle House, and they were like, "Yeah, we just got to respect the Nolan and dress up for the."
I like it, man. These guys were,
Yeah. Why'd you do that? We wanted to be classy.
We wanted to be classy for Oppenheimer. It was just
people were dressing up for Barbie. They wanted to have a counter to the Barbie.
I wore a pink shirt to Oppenheimer.
What? Oh yeah. You were in pink. Well, it was just funny to see the juxtaposition of the Barbie people, and then you see those guys in suits in Oppenheimer. It was just, it was pretty funny. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. I loved it. I 20 minutes into the movie, I'm like, this may be the greatest movie I've ever seen, and I feel like that's me with every Nolan movie. And I walked out going, no, it's not the greatest movie I've ever seen. But the first 2 hours, man, for a second there, I'm like, holy cow, Nolan is.
Wait, are we talking about Asteroid City?
Yes.
Because that movie was great. I loved that movie.
Brett's gonna have to go out elsewhere if we're gonna talk about Asteroid.
Brett doesn't listen to me. It's okay.
Dave, are you broadcasting from like a hall, like a concert hall?
It's my dining room.
It's the openness of his dining room.
That's right. That's right. It's my dining room.
You're not really echoing.
20-foot vaulted ceilings are not doing your audio quality any favors.
Take it or take it, whatever.
No, it's fine. No, it's all good. We do look, and I know we're all here. We're all excited about Oppenheimer and Barbie, but we really do have to talk about. I guess we do. Like Earl's excited about Secret Invasion.
I want to talk about it.
He loves it.
We need to give it. Let's give it a little time first, and then we'll dive into the other stuff. So this was the penultimate episode. Traditionally, with Marvel shows and Star Wars shows, it's kind of been a thing where the penultimate episode is a pretty good episode. I liked aspects of. I thought this was better than what we have gotten. Rhett, I mean, I know you've got a lot to say.
The story's going somewhere, I think.
Yeah, the story feels like it's going somewhere. Yeah,
well, it's moving
a little
toward
bit.
A conclusion. I don't know.
The Avengers DNA thing is kind of weird.
Kind of
but
that was kind of strange.
It's kind of weird and stupid. Yeah,
it's the MacGuffin, but like it took them 5 episodes to get to that. I mean, it's kind of strange.
That should have been episode 1. But
yeah, that should have been like
it's kind of dumb anyway. Yeah, I mean, we're not getting this. I mean, it's cartoon.
Do
stuff.
It. Go.
No, I mean, it's cartoon. It's just comic book cartoon stuff. That's not how any of that works. But
but a comic book would set that up earlier.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah. No. It's
right.
They started writing, and I don't know if that's did they do reshoots and rewrites? I don't know. That felt like that was never in the first draft, right? It's just awful. So
It is, Andrew.
The episode starts with
it is, Andrew. It is just bad. I mean,
the episode starts with one of the stupidest scenes I've ever seen in a show of this scale, with the president who has been injured in England. I think, I don't know.
Yes,
he was in England.
They landed in a field in the wilderness
because the Russians attacked England, apparently.
Right.
Yes, they did. The Russians landed in England.
So we have two doctors,
right,
wheeling the president through an absolutely empty hospital.
Yeah.
Set, with Nick Fury tagging along, saying all kinds of things to the unconscious.
You got to take care of him.
Yeah.
He's saying a scroll saved you. A scroll.
He's like that's, and then Rhodey walks in later, and Fury attacks him. Like there are no cops. There's no British dignitaries.
Well, the Secret Service are with Rhodey.
There's no nothing, and I understand that
there's no bobbies anywhere.
I understand that's a TV show budget.
Mounties.
But it is so far removed. The president is a thing that we all understand and can relate to, and we know who that is and how that works. And I'm distracted by that now. All that to say that it's awful. Okay, it's awful. It's awful. That opening scene is awful. There's no way around it.
It's not great.
I can't
It's
even.
just not great. It's sad.
Very low budget.
Yeah, it feels low budget.
Terrible lighting for that scene.
Feels like Doctor Who 1967.
Wow.
We're talking about the lighting. Yeah, Earl, you bring a point out. One of the notes I made was it was not just the lighting, but it's overall the blocking and the framing of this show are just horrible. It reminded me very much, only the fight that Gravik had with all his little underlings, and he goes outside. He walks outside at the end, and there's like 8 people looking scared over on the side, and it absolutely looked like a Friends soundstage street set. Right when they go outside, that's absolutely what it looked like. There were these 8 people, and they were like a garbage can and a bench, and they were all like so surprised. And it was the most
the show international.
It was just awful.
All the international locations. I mean, obviously, we were really in Finland, and we were really in Russia.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, the whole thing was shot in England, I guess, right? But
I think so. Yeah.
They had a little bit of location stuff, but that one was just all that nuclear plant set is just terrible. The scrolls look awful. They look awful.
What do I hear? Do I hear something?
They Gravik didn't look too bad.
Is somebody watching TV?
What is going on? Why are we?
It's David's, but it's fine. Just power through.
Okay.
Just power through. It's okay.
The scrolls.
There's a mute button too.
Listen, this nonsense with Maria Hill.
There is a mute button in the.
This is his
Go.
amateur.
Because I must hear everything Rhett says.
Go.
This crap about Maria Hill, and we're going to release the video of Nick Fury. Like, first of all, how would the world will be outraged? How does the world have any idea who Maria Hill is? Number one, why would anybody believe that? It's a very simple. Oh, there are scrolls that shapeshift. Like, this is an easy one to beat. That it's a hollow threat. Rhodey is acting like a lunatic. Are you not supposed to act like the person you've replaced? And he's
not
like
anymore.
a cartoon character.
His cover's blown.
But not to everybody. And
but
right
to
from the beginning, he acted like a dork.
See, I actually liked
the Russians. So if you want to, the Russians and the Skrulls are working together. The Russians deny it. Well, the Russians deny it because they are not working with the Skrulls, right? So what you do is you feed them intelligence. Hey, here's the nuclear plant where they all are. Why don't you go look? And then they go look, and now Russia, you don't have to nuke this plant. Russia does this for you. They fight this battle on their own land. You don't there's no threat of nuclear war here because you're not going to preemptively do that without talking to the Russians. The Russians, all they have to do is fly a drone over, and it's fine. This is written by idiots, just idiots. I'm mad, I don't hate it as much as I sound like I do. It's just boring and lame. But when you start really thinking through the details, you realize that this show is just trash.
Okay,
It makes
you're right.
no sense whatsoever. The
That's
road
right, Andrew.
make sense.
It
Nobody's
doesn't.
motivations make sense. The Avengers DNA is stupid. Oh, and this who was this guy? The guy that flew the plane. He was he
was in Black Widow.
Right?
Yeah.
So he says it's like there's no conversations ever happening unless they're on camera, right? He's like, well, the helicarriers are mothballed, just like you should be. Like, that's stupid. Why do you say that? Like, Nick Fury knows the helicarriers are mothballed. That was for us. Do it a bit. Deliver that information better. Can we talk about Barbie and Oppenheimer now?
No.
Let's get into Rick.
To talk about this.
Rick Mason and the importance of that cameo. I also want to pull back the curtain. We decided tonight to sound mix our podcast like a Nolan movie, so that's why for a bit there you haven't had a hard time hearing some of the dialogue. Yeah.
Oh god.
Hey, there were a few elements of hey, what did he say in Oppenheimer? Also,
there were, but I got over it after a while.
Just a small bit. This time.
It was no Tenet.
Not as bad as Tenet. No.
I love Tenet.
Garrison's gonna get mad if you keep saying that.
I love Tenet.
I swear there are certain theaters that
Tenet's
sounds
not
better
bad.
in than others. I'm being 100% serious.
Oh, Andrew, I know,
Andrew.
Andrew. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying, man. Earl, you're usually more positive than Brett when it comes to this show.
Let me tell you the things I like. So I've missed 2 episodes, and so I'm gonna talk about the things that I.
Please.
So first of all, it is sad that these guys, you can tell that they think they're trying to make prestige television. Think about some of these scenes if they had been done on HBO by better writers, like that standoff between him and Vara or whatever his wife. The ending of that should have been he puts a hole in her head and he kills her, and that would have been an HBO bam. You know what I mean? Like that would have made it.
Now there was a lot of violence in this episode.
Well, no. And that's the thing. They do violence, but it never seems to it just seems like it's there for, it doesn't have that impact that maybe an HBO good writer would do to make this story intriguing and exciting. But they think they're there and they're not. And I agree with Red on that.
The deaths have no meaning. It's it's gratuitous death. Like it's such easy killing.
Well, every episode ends with a death. Yeah,
like they kill Maria Hill. It's not they did her wrong. Remember the Navy guy? They broke into his house and shot him in the head in front of his kid.
Right.
Like they killed this guy and nobody cares. Olivia Colman's shooting people in the head right and left. There's no value, and this sounds real stupid and hokey, but there's no value for life. And there's no gravity when somebody kills somebody in this show. It's just pow, 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 and it's no big deal.
Yeah, which brings me to my better point: the value of human life. Oppenheimer.
Thank you. At least there was some remorse out of him. Nobody here. Guy, her dad dies, and she's like, he dead.
He died.
He died. Yeah, you can stop there. Well, there was no resolution to their relationship. There was no understanding of why did they split in the first place. It's just trash writing where they just throw. It's just scenes that are barely married to one another.
Well, let me give my positives. Okay, sorry. The things I like the way Nick Fury says scrolls, or how he says it. Are you out of your scroll?
If you're saying that's something you like,
no, I'm giving my positives. I like the way
that's it. That's
one.
That's high praise.
I actually like the Cheadle at this when he was like up in his face.
Scene.
I like that scene. I like Don Cheadle getting to play. I thought, okay, he's enjoying this scene. This is a good scene.
Yeah.
And he played it like the female scroll a little bit, if you really watch that. I thought that was good. And I like what's her face?
Olivia Colman.
Olivia Colman's character.
Yeah, the whole time
it was fun this episode.
The whole time through this episode, I'm thinking I would love it if Olivia Colman was in a good Marvel show.
Yeah,
because I think she's doing a really good job with what they're giving her.
Why am
And I would
blanking on her?
even like Emilia Clarke. Like, I'd even like
She
her in a better
fine.
show.
Yeah, she was
I
fine.
mean,
for
she's-
the-
Yeah,
just think
I'd
she's
like
been in
most of these actors in a better show.
It's just sad.
Yeah, no, the
Sonya
cast
Fallsworth.
itself is
Sonya
really
Fallsworth.
it's a pretty good cast. Now, I think the guy, I think the Gravik guy was amazing in Barbie, and I think he's crap in this.
He's a great actor too. That's
He's probably
the
gonna
thing.
be good in that Marley movie too.
No, I don't like Bob Marley. No Bob Marley movies. We don't need Bob Marley movies.
He will be good in the Bob Marley,
but
movie.
he'll do
I
the
think
role
he's
good.
good. That he does. They're not giving him anything to do here. He's just a I don't understand his motivation. It's just poorly done.
No, it's not. I mean, he's supposed to be a general, but then he's more like a thug and a terrorist now. And he doesn't lead people well. Right. If you don't go, you're faceless, you're nothing.
If you're going to throw the word general around, you need some sort of a uniformed a group of, like you need an organized, like an army, right? And they're just randos, and some of them look like Skrulls, some of them don't. They're all in street clothes, and it's just dumb. They just use the word because we know what it means.
I'm okay with the show being like a very personal thing for Nick Fury, where he feels like he has to do something on his own. But I think it needs to be a smaller. It needs to be a smaller scale story than this. When he's justifying this whole Avengers, like I'm not going to call them in because it's. I know how to protect the Earth or whatever he says.
Yeah, why wouldn't you call in the Avengers?
You're not justifying this choice right now.
To do this.
Just like call Captain Marvel up and have her wipe everybody out. I mean,
so is Nick Fury a Skrull? Is what I'm wondering. There was something that was. You don't think so?
I think that would be a really dumb decision.
Well, this is not a very smart group of writers.
I guess they could quickly do some reshoots and be like, "Oh, actually, this whole show was just Skrull.
He's been a Skrull since the beginning."
Yeah,
but he's not exactly in character either. But they're not going to do that because he's the protagonist. I mean, you need that. You need.
So, did he call Gravik at the end? Somebody?
No. I don't think. No.
Somebody thinks Maria Hill's still alive, and he called her. And
yes.
Okay, I can see that.
Every episode, Kobe Smulders is credited as a.
I know that's what's strange.
Well, she was in the video. Just because that clip of them showing her shooting her.
Clip.
Yeah, but she's. It must be in like every episode because I swear she's been a special guest.
Yeah, they keep showing us. I'm sure that was part of her deal. Like, give me. I wanted. Pay me for every one of them. So
every time you show my likeness.
Yeah. If you're gonna kill me off, you got to pay me every time you show me.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert,
TV
Dave.
or something. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Dave.
No, but I mean, like, 3 of the 5 episodes have had it ended with somebody being killed, right? Because Colby Smulders, then we had Emilia Clarke theoretically killed.
Well,
and then,
she's alive, though. I mean, yeah.
I know, but and then
Talos actually died.
Talos. So
that sucks.
So I mean, like,
so
when that happens at the end of every show, you're just
unless Nick Fury was calling Talos.
No,
they burned his body.
No,
Or was it?
Yes. Yes, it was. No, it was Mephisto.
Ralph Boner.
Well, I think they should have. Had Amelia with some. Yeah. I think they should have had Amelia at a party at the end, looking off and seeing the ghost of her father. A celebration was happening around her.
Yeah.
It was that kind of Viking funeral scene, wasn't it?
Yeah. Look,
they had to go in.
I say it every week. I hope the finale's good. I hope the finale's good.
I've seen one episode. One episode
from it earlier today, and it was stupid and crap. So,
Dave, what do you think of the one episode?
Well, because
I just think it's.
I've read the West of the Wikis. So. My problem is, and I told Rhett this, that I feel like with Maria Hill dying, this show didn't earn that. That's a major character.
No.
It's a major character throughout the entire in-game storyline. Yep. And that show did not earn the right to kill a major character like that. I mean, put 100%. That character in peril and pay it off in one of the movies if you have to, but it didn't. It's too big for its britches.
And really, Talos dying sucks too.
I disagreed with. Oh, I'm sorry, Garrison. Go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I think you can kill Maria Hill in this show. I just think it should have been better executed. And I don't even mind the idea of a Skrull. You know, I like all the ideas that they had. I just don't like the way they put it together.
Sure.
Well, I disagreed with that thought about Maria Hill at the beginning. I didn't
at first.
I was like, she's just who cares? But I came around on that. Like, she has been an integral part of all of this. From Avengers, and and now he just. I don't know. I guess
well, what Marvel has done with this with the Skrull thing is it's kind of like the multiverse. They now have the license to fix whatever they want to fix, and like we can make whatever happen because we can do the multiverse, or we'll just make that person a Skrull if we want to do this instead. Or hey, let's bring that person back and pretend the one that died was actually a Skrull. So it's they've given themselves a license to do that, and I don't like that because I feel like it's cheating. I don't know that Maria Hill will come back, but it is cheating and it's cheap.
Yeah, it's a comic book thing, right? I mean, they got to run for 80 years, so you've got to keep bringing characters back. So it was a device by which to bring characters back, to retro, to retcon some things. And you don't need it in the MCU. You're not going to bring those characters back because they get old and you need to phase them out. And you're not getting Downey Jr. back. He's not going to do that anymore. So you don't need
never say never.
Never say never.
Well, after he gets his Oscar for Oppenheimer, maybe.
You don't need the conceit of the Skrulls like you do in the comics. Or in the multiverse is the same way. That came out of the necessity to bring characters back and to true up storylines and all of that kind of stuff. And you don't need that here. And so it feels weird because it's shoehorned in. Secret Invasion is a thing that comic book readers know, but John Q. Public doesn't. They don't have a real connection to that. This isn't the real story there. It's not playing out like that. It's just a cheap marketing thing to get you to pay attention to it. When it's not necessary for the overall MCU story. It's not establishing anything that's going to carry forward.
Yeah, the Skrull invasion should have been a gigantic event. I mean, it should have been an Avengers movie, really, at the end of the day. Even if you wanted Nick Fury to be more prominent in that film, I'm fine with that, but it should have been an Avengers film.
Yeah.
It's just plain and simple at this point.
Well, and somebody said it earlier, but this notion of Nick Fury being the one, only I can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The world, that's stupid, bro. How good have you done at that so far? Right? You disappeared and you didn't do it. So that's just that's a forced, contrivance, a plot contrivance, and because this thing is written by children. Smarter children than the children that wrote She-Hulk. Okay, this is a better show than She-Hulk,
that's true.
But it is less fun to watch than She-Hulk. I liked watching She-Hulk because I hated it so much. I don't hate this thing enough to enjoy it.
Let's say this: at least the She-Hulk writers knew the assignment and hit the home run with it.
Or
what
internally, like
they thought they were hitting the home run. They knew what
meandering slog.
Michael, what do you think about all this?
I liked this episode better than the previous ones. I don't understand why we wait till the 5th episode to introduce the Avengers DNA thing.
Yeah,
because right before
we've been talking about the harvest this whole time, but there's been there hasn't been any
reference to And so right before Gravik killed his number one guy, he's like the number one guy went on this diatribe like you were supposed to know where the DNA was and blah blah, and I'm like, what is he even talking about? And then he just murders him in front of everybody.
It's so
it creates this,
you don't have voices.
And then they're
faceless. You're nothing.
They have this uprising, and so we can see some more Power Skrull junk. I mean, it's just
that's terrible leadership. Like he's an awful villain. He's not intimidating. He doesn't have people on his side. Like that's not it's not a cause that you can kind of be like, oh, I see where this guy's coming from. It's just crap.
Oh God, Brian, please don't bring this into fruition. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel now. Imagine what happens in a year after no new shows via SAG-AFTRA.
Well, that's why they're discussing. WGA. Yeah, that's why they're discussing delaying a bunch of movies to next year because they're not going to have a pipeline next year.
Not going to have anything. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's scary. I mean, as much as we deride like the writing, if you have like good writing, like, and I'll say it, look, Star Trek Strange New Worlds has been really good this season. It's fun, it's jovial, it's good writing, it's good character work. And so good writing can help a show quite a bit. And if they had had a good writer for this show, maybe it would have made a difference. I mean, instead they've got, I don't know, this guy's.
And losing Mendelsohn, I mean, Mendelsohn really helped carry it. I think the first couple of episodes.
Well, and I think the work that Mendelsohn and Emilia Clarke did together was always pretty good. The scenes they were in together were always pretty good. I mean, they had a good rapport with each other, and you could even see that in some of the press stuff they did together. They were having a good time promoting the show together, and so it makes you want to. It makes you want to root for the show because you like the actors that are in it, but when they're the only bright spot is Olivia Colman.
Yeah.
I mean, she's having fun being like sort of, I don't give a crap what's going on. I'm just going to do what I want to and getting to shoot people in the head.
Cake or death?
Yeah, cake or death.
Look at Andrew Haley's comment.
Would you rather watch this?
That's a tough one.
Oh man, Andrew.
Oh my gosh.
Would you rather watch this?
I'd rather watch Obi-Wan.
I think I'd rather watch Obi-Wan.
Right. I like the Star Wars universe better, so at least I'd be there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also crappy, but
there were episodes of Obi-Wan I legitimately enjoyed. In fact, I would say were good, and I haven't said that about this show yet.
I just want to be on the episode of Extra if they bring She-Hulk back for the final episode of Secret Invasion, just for Rhett. Just for Rhett.
I hope they do. It would step up my enjoyment of the show. Like
I hope
full trash.
I hope she twerks with Nick Fury in the post credits.
No. It's not going to be She-Hulk. It's going to be the son. It's going to be Hulk's son.
Oh,
She-Hulk.
That design was horrible. With his ponytail.
At this point, an ending with twerking Fury and She-Hulk would be an improvement to the show. Like it would be something that I'm like, well, I didn't see that coming. That's an
event, right?
It'll be the son, illegit Hulk.
At least I would. At least it's something to talk about,
Illegit Hulk.
The twerking moment in this episode is when Olivia Colman turned on the rap in the car, and
he said, "We're doing this.
So we're doing this now," and she was like, "We're doing this. They fly now." No.
And then the guy that she shot in the head, like he grabbed a gun and puts it to this other lady's head.
Yes.
Olivia Colman is just standing there still with none of these soldiers, none of her bodyguards. Why didn't he shoot her? Like, why put the gun on her? On the doctor? Just
on
shoot
the other
he knew human nature, and she showed him that he doesn't know human nature.
Oh, Mikey.
Why? Tell him that it's human nature.
Hear me out on this. It's dumb.
No, Mikey's unlocked the whole show now. I understand. I see it now.
The Skrulls think they know human nature, but they don't. All right.
Even
so
when he's out, he's in.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got the finale. We'll be back, of course.
I mean, the eye patch is back. Oh, that ending.
Oh, I know the ending. He's on the phone with somebody. Somebody huge is going to be on the other end of that phone. They're going to have some major.
It's the eye patch.
Eye patches.
Don't forget the trench coat. And don't forget the hat. You had the whole ensemble.
That was the second best suit-up moment I saw this weekend. This calendar week behind Oppenheimer when he's in the. He's being told, get out of the military uniform, put back on the scientist uniform, and he puts on the coat, and he puts the hat back on, and then he grabs the pipe. So let's talk about Oppenheimer.
Okay, so are we going to do Oppenheimer before Barbie? Okay, let's do
I'm going to drop out.
All
right, okay, let's talk about Barbie first.
No. I'm saying I'm going to drop because they're going to do spoiler.
Oh, yeah, you haven't talked. You haven't seen
Barbie.
I haven't seen Barbie, and I'd rather
two of y'all haven't seen Barbie yet.
Why don't you talk about Barbie next week?
No, we can come back.
It'll be old. It's old news.
It'll be old news next week. It's
Barbenheimer. It's all.
We're going to talk about Haunted Mansion next week. No, I'm just kidding. We're not doing that, by the way.
When does Ahsoka start, Mike?
It's like 3 weeks, so there's going to be a long. We're going to have to figure. We're going to come in here and just talk about. We're going to talk about Oppenheimer for 3 weeks in a row.
Is your shrine going to be behind you, Mikey?
My Oppenheimer, or wait, what shrine? I missed
Ahsoka shrine.
Oh, I could angle the camera to show the Ahsoka shrine.
He has an Ahsoka shrine?
Oh yeah, man. I've got 4 shelves full of Ahsoka.
Yeah, but you're uncomfortably it's the young Ahsoka.
Actually, I don't have any young Ahsoka. I don't have any.
I don't think that's true.
That's behind the door. No.
What's behind
right.
the Ahsoka door?
Let's do Oppenheimer first, since we've got a couple people that haven't seen Barbie that are on the panel.
We
So
can
let's
scoot
dive
out.
into
Let's all talk about
Oppenheimer. 3 hours of glorious cinema magic. Cinema, exactly. Film.
It's like a real
film.
You know, that's a big boy movie.
You want hot Ahsoka?
Yeah,
Yes,
it's a grown-up
Brian.
movie.
Yes.
I mean, Garrison, you're the one with the strongest opinions about it of anybody here. You kick us off.
I have some big opinions, but go
Well,
ahead.
I mean, everybody has an
you
opinion, but he's
kick
like,
us off. You're the one you're the Nolan prodigy. You go ahead. Progeny. Sorry, progeny.
I walked in this film. I was really interested in the film. Honestly, I knew that this film was going to make people on Twitter relitigate the droppings of the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and I was dreading that. But and it of course did. Of course. But otherwise, I loved this film. I thought there were some really just spectacular choices made within that. I know he went on and talked about how he did all the stuff practically. The thing to me is, and this will speak to Earl a little bit, when I was seeing the visions we see in his mind of all the particles and the rings and the fire that we see early on, I was like, this is the Tree of Life. This is Terrence Malick on screen right in front of me. Now, we didn't have enough wheat fields for me to say.
The Tree of Death. It's the Tree of Death.
Yeah. But it felt very inspired by Terrence Malick in those specific scenes.
Yeah. I hear
By the way,
you.
if y'all have not seen Oppenheimer in the chat, we will be doing spoilers, right?
Oh, this is all spoilers. Yeah, they know
on
that.
rewatch, opening up on the raindrops in the on the ground in front of Oppenheimer. You don't know what that means when you're first seeing the film, but the second time, I think it's a brilliant choice. It's great for a rewatch, at least, when you know that that's him kind of foreseeing all the things that we see throughout the film. It's a film about a guy who's trapped with a brilliant mind that sees all these things that everyone else can't see.
I know that feeling.
But
especially around politics time, election time. But go ahead. Sorry.
He can see all these things that everyone else can't see, but even he himself can't see the consequences of all these things that he is bringing forth to the world.
Yeah, don't you think some of that is like him taking things from nature and like thinking of them, like, okay, thinking of the physics of it and he's going to use that later to build this idea of the atoms colliding. I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, it was him. Everything when we see we see water or a lamp or whatever, and he sees the atomic structure of it.
I love lamp.
Oh, like Adam Eve from Invincible
world, right?
And no spoilers, Mikey. I've got.
Sorry.
This is a world that's just discovering quantum physics.
Well, quantum physics is brand new, yeah.
And all the stuff that Einstein was proposing and all the other brilliant physicists that followed afterwards. So he is on the precipice, on the cusp of them discovering this brand new part of science that we still don't even fully understand. And if someone were to actually talk about physics to me, I would not understand what they were saying.
Yeah. Only Rhett understands.
We'll introduce you to Jimmy. He can talk to you about our friend Jimmy will talk to you about physics.
I've tried to listen to things about like complicated physics stuff and just been like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's way too much.
Yeah. But theoretical physics is really cool. Nice name change there. Yeah, I think could have gotten. You know what? I want to see Cosby, the brilliant, tortured mind of a guy who slipped a woman a drink.
Yeah. He was right about the pudding, though.
Hey, those pudding pops
are
good.
I think he was right about chocolate cake. I mean, that's breakfast. If you ask me, it's eggs, it's milk, it's.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
A man knew how to raise the roofie. Anyway. What are we talking about? What's happening here?
But I think this is not my favorite Nolan film. is maybe my 6th or 7th favorite. I'm still kind of litigating.
Oh wow, that
personally.
low.
I love like
he's only done like 10.
I mean, that's bottom third of his filmography.
Well,
yeah,
maybe
okay, but how am I going to put this above? So first off, I like Dunkirk more than this film, and I love.
Oh sure,
I actually
no doubt about that. No doubt about
I
that.
love The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's good.
I love Inception.
Prestige.
Memento is my number 2 of his films, and The Prestige is my favorite.
That
top 5 to me. It's a hard jump to get in there. Maybe on some rewatches it gets up there, but I do think this is his. I'm going to leave it off on this point. I do think this is his best directed film, but not my favorite of his films.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I probably put this 5 or 6 for me, and then Nolan over.
That's a good point.
And I still want this to win Best Picture currently of the films.
Barbie's going to win. Barbie's going to win. But go ahead, Rhett.
It's not a perfect film. I mean, I think
Matt Damon should not have been in this movie. By the way,
Matt Damon was great in this movie.
Oh, Matt Damon.
Why were you not liking Matt Damon?
I did not like Matt Damon.
Well, I did, and I tell you why. Because it was a very different character than all the scientists, right? And he's a different actor than all those guys. He's much more middle America kind of red meat actor.
Okay, that's true, but
it played well against all of that. It was a great contrast.
And they had kind of a silent respect for each other.
Yeah,
that was noticeable in their acting.
Very different, I thought he was a nice change of pace for the movie. Really,
and I like Matt Damon in most stuff that he's in, but for some reason it just was not working for me.
He's great in Air. He's great.
No, that's what I mean. I mean, I like him a lot in most stuff. For some reason, he just was not working for me.
I did.
I thought he was fantastic in this.
American
RDJ, on the other hand, he was awesome.
Yeah, well, he was. But the first 2/3 of the movie run like a freight train turned loose to me. Like I don't know if it was in the score or some subtle sound effect, but there was almost this pulse
Ludwig
to the movie,
absolutely
drumming, steady beat that just drove everything forward right up until they detonated that bomb.
Yes, it's all building tension toward the bomb.
Yeah. Just one of the
and that part's
it was fantastic. I mean, the tension building. Now, I found the bomb itself to be a little bit of a letdown, but it didn't see. But I realized when I got there, and it was a letdown. I realized it didn't matter. It wasn't about that anyway. Right. So it was okay, and I don't think
it was supposed to. I don't think it was trying to be a bombastic scene. I think it was trying to be a horrific scene. I think in that moment we're supposed to think that Oppenheimer is seeing these scary images of this bomb and realizing the power it has, and then realizing, oh crap, what have we done? Which is why immediately after he gives the speech,
sound was used to great effect, where there's almost just pure silence throughout, and
that was weird.
You get the sound, out of nowhere a couple of times, and so I like the first 2/3. I thought were just about perfect. I mean, it was just really solid. Just some of the
I was grinning in my seat for the first 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it meandered a little bit on the last.
So all the Jason Clark stuff, probably.
Well, no, it was more the
cutting
Downey stuff, but that was offset by they were all amazing performances. So whether it's meandering and hard to I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? And it's almost an aside. I mean, I get that it's kind of the character assassination of Oppenheimer and all of this, but especially the Downey stuff was almost just like, well, you get Oppenheimer gets a little payback on him. I got that, but it was superfluous to most of the movie. It could have, if you took it out, you'd have a great movie. You'd still have a great movie, right? I mean, it would not.
The 2 hours,
So that's the only thing that I really didn't like. I don't think Emily Blunt was great. A lot of people really like her performance.
I thought she was great.
Okay with what she had, but it was,
her role was small, though. You're right.
It was real.
And I think
David Krumholtz was the best in the movie.
He was good. If you take that last hour out, though, suddenly the movie itself shifts because it suddenly becomes just about building the bomb.
Right.
That was part of the major story, but the story was Oppenheimer before, during, and the legacy after. So you remove that thing, then the whole premise of the movie just shifts into now we're telling a story about how to build the bomb, in which Oppenheimer was the lead guy on it, versus let's tell the Oppenheimer story in this period of his life.
And
Well,
I
some of it
totally
is a function of Nolaning as hard as Nolan has ever Nolaned, right?
Yeah, because it was very talky.
well, sorry.
Unlike a lot of his movies.
Nolaning as hard as Nolan has ever Nolaned is Tenet, and it is glorious.
Okay, that's
I do
fair.
like
That's
Tenet.
fair.
The non-linear nature of it. There was a lot of character names
a lot of non.
there was a lot of repetition. Like you see, it's not the same scene over, but it's some of the same conversations with different.
And I like that because we were revisiting it and seeing it from a different angle. That's what Nolan does a lot in his films. And you will probably, if you look too close, notice some continuity errors in those shots. But that doesn't really matter to me because you're also seeing it from different perspectives. One, we're seeing it from Oppenheimer's perspective. The other, we're seing it from Strauss's perspective. And if we know anything about human memory, we all remember events completely different from each other.
Right.
Well, I get it. But it did make the movie that in the last third, it makes it less accessible because because Nolan is Nolaning so hard. And
yes, Andrew, I know the two scenes that you're talking about. I'm sorry you had to experience that with your grandpa.
That was unnecessary. That was totally unnecessary. Those scenes.
Well,
you experienced that with your grandpa.
Well, David's right. Those scenes are unnecessary, but
they've been CGI'd and covered up for the Middle East.
You could have shown what they were doing without showing all the nudity. I mean, that's I didn't like that.
No, I think the nudity was completely necessary.
Well, obviously.
That's because you're 14.
The first one was not. You could have worked around it. You could have CGI'd a black dress on her like they did in India.
For the Middle East. And
but the second one, I at least like that was I like what he was trying to do there.
Right.
You're talking about where Emily Blunt is
yes.
The
point is that Oppenheimer is being exposed, right?
Yes.
The scenes are fine in which I didn't like the nudity part.
Naked with a woman on top of it.
I think this is his most art house film.
Yeah.
And that's both a good and a bad thing for me.
So, Garrison, you're probably not the right person to answer this question because you would say yes on all of them. But I guess, how rewatchable is this for everybody? Some Nolan movies are not rewatchable. I can't just sit down and watch it. I can't sit down and watch. I think my least favorite probably is Interstellar. I'll never watch that again ever.
Really?
Inception, Insomnia. This I can rewatch and be absolutely happy rewatching.
Interesting. I walked out of the theater saying that's probably Nolan's least rewatchable film.
Really? I think it'd be one of those.
Because it's so depressing.
It's depressing and long.
And
who's
very
got 3
long.
hours?
And when I went back to rewatch it, though, I'll say this. I enjoyed the third hour more this time. So
the expectations were adjusted to what it was supposed to be, I think.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. I knew what was coming, and so when it came, I was like, "Yeah, this is really working for me."
It has
Jump in, Earl.
Than Passion of the Christ.
I know.
Well, no, I was going to say, I think if I had known it was going to have this, the hearing scene at the end, and RDJ's character, there were those sort of flashes of that scene around the table, and I didn't really pay a lot of attention to that. And I think if I had known it was going to head towards where it was heading with that hour-long, I would have paid more attention to some of the stuff in the middle because I was just really focused on getting to the bomb. I lost track of where that scene was with RDJ's character. So I think for me now, I could see how watching it again, I would probably pay more attention to those parts because then I might understand some of because I think I was still a little bit confused at the end, when did he join the Energy Commission and when was this? And this was after the bomb. And so I think I lost track of the timeline a little bit.
Yeah, he was so busy Nolaning that he did not establish the timeline very well. You didn't always know. Well, when is this conversation with Einstein out by the pond happening? Right.
Right.
Meeting at dinner where they move the centerpiece out of the way, or the other meeting at dinner when they moved the centerpiece out of the way. That happened twice, two different meetings, and he didn't do a great job of telling you when the sequence of all of that, which is just Nolan's jam, right?
I think
it came together at the end for me.
In terms of jumping back and forth in time in his films, I think this is the most accessible and most understandable of his
it's
stuff for me.
biopic-ish.
On first watch, I understood most of where the things laid on the timeline.
Yeah, I got it. I followed it well enough. But he didn't. That wasn't because of he didn't. I don't know. He didn't flag any of those. He didn't put it in a sequence that made a ton of sense. I mean, you could have rearranged it in a couple of different ways, and it still would have worked. Now, some of it was obviously you're building it here and putting it there, but it wasn't all. I thought it just wasn't perfect for me. The last third was not as good as the first 2/3, but it was lifted by the performance of
performances were great.
Mostly Downey.
And Alden at the end, I thought had a really great.
Oh yeah, Alden
really
was
great
good.
performance.
And even Rami Malek in the Senate thing, he had, even though he wasn't used through the whole movie.
I love that he gets the first 2 scenes are just him bumbling crap. He's just like fumbling stuff, and then at the end he gets a whole like speech at the Senate hearing.
And it was good. It was really,
Jason
really good.
Clarke was good.
Man, that scene with Jason Clarke and Emily Blunt. That scene, if she does win,
solid. That's
the supporting actress,
she'll get a nomination. I don't know if she'll win, but she'll get a nomination.
Jason Clarke, when he is asking when the morality kicks in for Oppenheimer, when did you start thinking about this stuff for the bomb? I love that scene because Oppenheimer doesn't have a good answer about all that stuff.
Right.
No.
And he is visibly frustrated, and the light, the flashes in the room, and
of course Cillian Murphy needs to win Best Actor.
They never settled the question of just how communist was he, right?
Yeah, no, and I kind of like that because I think
that's the gray
I think there's a lot of questions about that in real life. Right, he had so many connections.
There are questions about Oppenheimer, and he was a communist pariah to many, and
and he had so many connections to all kinds of people in that world, and clearly dabbled in some of it too, because he attended all those parties. He just didn't officially become a card-carrying member, clearly.
I mean, if you knew Florence Pugh was at those parties, wouldn't you attend also? I mean,
you know what? I probably would.
There you go. There you go.
He goes to the closet, gets his hammer and sickle out.
Yeah, I grab volume 2 of Das Kapital, and
says yet a lot and adds ski to the end of everything.
Then I start talking about how
proletariat.
But then I start talking about how it's never been done right before.
First time he says dialectical materialism, you met a girl.
Guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. Communism, it works because it currently doesn't work because a guy stays in power at the top. The power is supposed to go to the people, guys. And so obviously when you have a revolution and a dictator gets installed into power to secure that, and then he's going to set up the government the right way, and then he's going to give the power to the people, but then they never do. It's really weird.
They put most of the people are in a gulag somewhere or murdered out.
Right.
It's the weirdest thing. First he's got to purge all those people who don't conform to the.
Well, guys, this has been a great.
They were going to get some power out of it.
This has been a great conversation about Barbie. So I'm glad we're talking about communism and Barbie.
Well, hey, I do have a question. Was the U.S. justified in dropping the bombs on Japan?
So here's the thing.
Let's go.
Let's go around the table and talk about
what
that.
What does everybody think about that?
I think this is a totally complex, nuanced discussion. If we're legitimately ever going to have that discussion, that people online are just going to, in 2023, we're just going to go, oh, we obviously shouldn't drop atomic bombs on civilian populations. And here's the thing: we're firebombing the crap out of Japan at the time, and probably on pace to firebomb them even more, and probably have a higher death count than if we drop the atomic bombs. I think it's way too complex of a question to just go yes or no about on a whim.
And there are
I loved Gary Oldman as Truman, though. He was
great.
I
did too.
Von Clausewitz wrote about total war, and in total war you destroy the enemy wholly. Right? Yeah. You kill every man, woman, and child who could ever possibly rise against you to absolutely break their spirit. And the theory behind it is you win quicker. It's better for your people. Like, you're looking out for your people. This is a war that we didn't start. And I mean, that's the theory. I'm not me editorializing. I'm talking about Clausewitz, right? And it was a legitimate concept to and how military were the targets. There was a barracks there. There was a a manufacturing center. They killed more civilians than anything else.
Hirohito had to overrule his military council or whatever, who even a week after the bombings wanted to go ahead with the war.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So I mean that's a really fanatical group of I look, I'm not
right. Yeah, they were going to fight to the last man.
Oh, no,
I don't know that I would want to
ruthless.
personally atomic bomb anyone. I don't know that we should ever drop an atomic bomb ever again. I'm just saying it may have saved lives in the process, and whether or not that's a good thing that happened, that's not me. That's not for me.
It's a tough call for a president to make.
Yeah.
Truman did. It wasn't a tough call for Truman.
Those guys,
I don't know how
make a
you
decision.
never
Get
know
this
how
wussy out of my
but he didn't seem. He seemed to enjoy it.
Get this crybaby out of here.
I think.
Yeah, but it's. I like that the movie asked the question, but didn't. I mean, it had a little bit of an agenda. I mean, it suggested that the suggestion was that maybe we didn't have to do that and look at a conversation with Einstein about we did destroy the world.
Look what we've done.
Well, and I think I did. I think whatever he says at the end, the specific line he says, which I really did like. I think we did it. I think it's going to happen. Whatever he said. Yeah. I like that in the juxtaposition of the Cold War starting, and now Russia and U.S. both have nukes. Right. And they're going to nuke the crap out of you. That's the feeling that was happening at the time.
Yeah, that's right. That's a very in that moment. It felt
people ducking under desks at schools.
We were in the throes of the Cold War, and you thought it was going to end at any moment. And now it doesn't feel.
I mean, ducking under desks seems like such a primitive, stupid thing. Almost like wearing masks everywhere and getting 17 boosters. It's ridiculous. Stuff that we know doesn't work. Anyway, so what I also loved about this movie too, I loved that they didn't feel the need to explain every single thing about science and chemistry. Like it didn't try to go overboard to explain, because they knew most of the audience wouldn't get it. And so rather than bore the audience of like, this is have any character try to explain the juxtaposition of this neutron or electron, they just did it. And, you watch them in action. And I like that because sometimes movies like this, they feel like they have to have a character in place as the proxy for the audience to understand what's happening. And they didn't lose the audience like that. They just did it. It wasn't on the blackboard. Nobody knew what they were doing.
Let me tell you about the plutonium gun that was the little boy bomb. So you take I'm not going to do that. But
anything I know about the bomb, I learned the Manhattan Project with Christopher Collette and John Lithgow in 1984. That movie's fantastic. I love that movie, by the way. He builds a nuclear weapon in his garage, and then he gets like NASA's chasing him. Anyway, I love that movie.
I did like.
Yes, that's right, Earl. I don't know who this is in the chat, but I'm with him. This is all I needed as well.
I liked all the chalkboard scenes. I like the marbles too. As the representation over time. We know how much plutonium.
The uranium's building.
Uranium. Yeah.
Which they're all doing in Chicago, and I guess I don't know.
Oh, look, Andrew does want you to explain the plutonium gun. Andrew,
we got to talk about Barbie.
No, he actually wants Red explained. He's like, y'all explain Red.
Red explain communism and plutonium. Go.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
It is. It really is. I can't.
Amazing
movie.
Who
knows what else is going to come? Well, Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
I heard it had Academy screenings this week, and the Academy members that went were raving about it. So.
Oh well, sure. No,
I think this is going to have a lot of nominations.
I think. No, not Barbie.
Yeah, but I mean, from actors, obviously Murphy and Downey for supporting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think Nolan for director.
Will probably get one, but I didn't love her.
Give it to Josh Hartnett. Josh Hartnett was friggin' amazing. I love the Hartnett. I love the Josh Assance. I think this is great.
The Hartnett Assance.
Oh, there's so many great performances in the film.
Andrew, yes, Andrew. Andrew, we made that joke already. Come on, man. Keep it up.
All right, Earl. I mean, we are going to talk about Barbie. Are you really going to leave? Are you really?
Yeah,
leaving?
sure. I'm going to leave. You just text me when you want me back in.
Earl can be found on the Discord.
It's Barbie time.
Text you. We're done. After we talk about Barbie, we're done.
That's fine. Y'all have a great night.
So
now my kid can talk in the background because Earl won't be here to get mad.
Thank you for stopping by.
Was I the one that got mad?
Earl, you can be found in the Deucecast every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't.
Now that it's a safe place for me to be, I'm just kidding.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. You better go now. Thank you, Earl.
Good night, guys. Good night, everyone.
See ya.
All right. Barbie time.
Barbie movie.
Barbie time.
Harrison, you didn't watch the Barbie movie. Are you gonna be okay here?
Are you gonna be? We don't want to totally.
We're gonna talk about
everything.
specific jokes and lines from the movie here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
All
be
right. All right.
I mean, I read the wiki before I saw the movie, so I
I mean,
understand too.
I know
get
the ending of the film. Everyone went, "Oh my god, I can't believe she went to a." And I went,
I mean, it was funny, but I don't know that it didn't carry as much weight as people are acting like it carried from.
But it also defined a woman, which was interesting.
I want to say that on tomorrow's Deucecast, I was a little hot. I was a little heated. I was a little. So I've calmed down a lot.
Let me just say that in editing,
the
stinger is about 2 minutes out of 12 and a half minutes worth of extra material. I had to edit a lot. There was a lot of conversation that went on in that.
Oh, so you actually edited it?
Oh, he had to.
Oh, I had to.
I went too far. I did.
Yeah,
I was upset.
He was upset.
I was upset at a lot of things that night. I will say
I even had to edit some of the show because you were upset about certain things, and I had to pull some
sorry.
out of the show.
I'll do better next time, Daddy. I'll do better next time, Dad. Okay. So I want to say that I am tired of Barbie, the right and the left screaming about Barbie. I am tired about it. Ruins the experience for me. And it was so fresh when we recorded the Deucecast on that Friday night that I was still mad about some things. Now I've calmed down and I'm tired about the whole diatribe. I'm tired of all of it. It's a fun movie. Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Liberals come into it demanding that it's the most feminist thing of all time, and it must be viewed, and conservatives hated it from the beginning, and without sight unseen, and then when they go see it, they hate it just because they decided they hated it, and
Dave,
I think it's dumb. I think it's very much between those 2 points of view. And there's no reason to hate it. I mean,
okay. Look, there is, but there also isn't. They're
hating it off of off of one monologue that had some teeth to it.
It is the monologue, though. It is cringy. It is the most
because it's true, and
don't. It is. Now, Rhett, you're doing it to me. You're doing it to me, Rhett.
But it's from her point of view that the point that was glossed over is that women hold women to that standard much more than men do. And that was lost a little bit. But the things that she says that they face from other women is more than they do from men. And that was glossed over, and it wasn't delivered that way. But she said things that were real experiences of women, and that's fine. And the movie didn't dwell on it. You got that one monologue, and then they used it for comic effect to kind of unbrainwash the other women, right? By telling them that, which was done pretty well and funny. And then the guy stuff that was over the top was really funny. Guys do like trucks and horses.
He said horses, by the way. Horses.
They accused us of horses. We like horses, trucks, and we were a little too invested in the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League.
That was hilarious.
True, right?
And Andrew, you're right. I had in the moment. I have not laughed that hard at a movie in 10 years.
Yep.
It really had me.
Not since he saw Schindler's List did he laugh so hard.
The jokes were.
The jokes were, even though I knew that I would never let my kids see that, and I still stand by it. I'd never if you're not 15 and above, you probably shouldn't see the movie. That's just my personal take on it. Yeah. That's just my personal take on it. That's
I don't think they'll get most of it, but
well, the problem is
I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know why you make a PG-13 Barbie movie, honestly. Is there enough that you could make a PG, or is it have to be PG?
They would have had to remove.
You need to make a PG-13.
They would have had to remove some of the jokes. I mean,
yeah.
Which they could have and made a PG.
I think it was also a CYA thing too, because I think they knew moms were going to bring their young daughters to see it, so they could say PG-13. Hey, we told you. I'm sorry if you didn't like it.
Right, and that's a good point.
It was going to happen. Yeah. And there was kids films being the trailers for Trolls and whatever before it. So it's not
I heard it was all kids films in front of it.
So here's my thing. First of all, conservatives need to calm the F down because
they do.
I liked Elemental. There is a scene in Elemental where there is a character who apparently is the first non-binary character in animation or whatever. no idea that character even existed until the voice came out and was like, "Hey, I play the first whatever, not character." Nobody gives a rip because the character's so insignificant. It didn't even have a name in the credits. Of course, conservatives are like, "Did you hear about this? That this character?" No, go see the movie. It's good. There are certain movies you need to get worked up about. This is not one of them. Same thing with Barbie. It's not one of them. Doesn't have an agenda, probably, but to Rhett's point, that monologue can be taken either way. If you're a parent, you're going to be telling your kid one of two things. Either, hey, honey, we're going to watch this movie, but just so you know, this is a fantasy and a comedy we're watching. Don't take everything to heart. We'll talk about it later. Or, hey, this is going to reinforce everything I've been teaching about how hard the world is.
Feminism to heart.
I mean, exactly. So it's one of two ways. Because if your 14-year-old daughter is going to see this movie and getting their ideals from this movie,
that's on you.
That's a parenting job on you.
That's a parenting.
That's something you're not doing.
But at the same time, that a lot of girls are like, my girls want to see this movie so bad, and they're not happy with me that I'm not letting them see the movie.
But they don't want to go see it because they want to be reinforced, their femininity to be reinforced.
But it's in there though.
It is in there. Yeah,
it's in there though. That's the problem.
I mean, there's a lot of things you could take and read into.
Reinforced. It's not terrible.
This was written by Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach. Both are very, very left wing. So to say that there's not bits and pieces through there that have their ideals in them is completely wrong. You have to admit that. A lot of Hollywood's like that, obviously. This is a satire. Sure. It's a fantasy. I took it as a fantasy. I laughed all the way through it. There were some parts I thought were kind of stupid. The monologue I thought was kind of cringy,
hilarious for adults.
Honestly. I thought the last line was stupid, honestly, that whole thing. I thought Margot Robbie is flawless. She might be the most perfect being I think I've ever seen walk the earth. She's incredible. Ryan Gosling is great. This movie, to me, the movie itself...
All the Kims are really funny.
The movie itself, like, I feel like could have been a disaster, but for Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling leading that movie the way they did.
Well,
playing it perfectly. They played it perfectly. It's well written. And I love Greta Gerwig. I've seen there's one movie I haven't seen that she's directed. I got to go find it. But other than that, I've seen everything that she's directed.
Anyway. You've seen her sole-directed films.
Yeah, I've seen, I think, Night something by the night or whatever. I haven't seen. That was her first film. But everything else I've seen. I've seen all of Baumbach's films. So I've seen her part in all that. And I like Greta Gerwig quite a bit, but I also don't have a 14-year-old daughter that I'm having to take this movie to explain things to and whatever. So,
I took she's 16 and she wasn't
right, and that's fine.
No, but I know you, Red, and I know what you taught your daughters.
I mean, the key is it's not that you can't bring a certain daughter to it. You can't bring stupid people to it. But
that's the problem. That's the problem too.
Listen,
but there is a certain age. Like, you shouldn't be bringing your 6-year-olds to it because of some of the jokes.
But they won't get the joke, so it's okay. That even I think that's an age where they won't even understand that joke.
I guess the question,
they might actually be bored. Like, I think a lot of the little kids,
a lot of the little kids were bored. Movie, and I'm like, watch the cartoon movies because you'll be bored. I have an 8-year-old who wants to see it, and it's not the content that makes me not want to take her. It's the fact that it's boring. It will be boring for her.
Yeah, for kids.
But listen, on a couple of good things. First of all, Margot Robbie acts with her face really well. She really expresses emotion without saying a single word, and I think she's a little underrated in that respect. That she's really
I agree.
Actress. And no one in the history of film has ever understood the assignment better than Ryan Gosling did in this movie.
Right?
Yes.
Whether he's talking or just standing in the background, he was 100% on it the whole time. All the Kens were great. Simu Liu was great.
Yeah, he was funny.
Gravik was great.
Gravik, yeah. Kinsley Belvedere, I don't know.
Benadire.
Benadire, yeah.
It was all great. And listen, if there was an agenda, if they wanted to force feed a message, the Kens, what they did would have been worse. But it wasn't a terrible place that they built.
Right.
Had horses and trucks,
the kingdom.
And everybody had TVs and brewski beers, right?
Brewski beers.
And they were all kind of dumb and they whatever. But they were not. And the women were subservient in the sense that they were, I bring you a brewski beer, rub your feet. Whatever, they weren't on the Supreme Court.
But they were also enjoying serving the men. That's what the weird thing about the movie is.
they weren't abused. It wasn't terrible. They weren't horribly oppressed. They weren't made to all wear, it wasn't like Handmaid's Tale or something like that. Like if they had a real agenda,
I hate that show.
they wouldn't have made the Kens so appealing. But the Ken world Kenland or whatever it wasn't terrible. And so I think the message, what little message there is, it's there, but it wasn't overt. They did not sacrifice the quality of the movie to teach a message, because the movie was really funny. They wanted to make some money. They wanted to have a whole franchise. And if you go out of your way to alienate a massive chunk of your 4-quadrant audience, then none of those things will happen. And they didn't want to do that. And I don't think they did do that. So when you get these conservatives who blast it for having this overt agenda, they've got blinders on. That's all they see, because they wanted to see it there, because they already decided that it was like that. So now, if it's not that for them, they have to say, oh, well, Greta Gerwig, who I hated so much because she's a woman director, is not really all that bad. They get into they're proven wrong if they don't say this is a horrible piece of propaganda. But it wasn't. It was it was fun. It had funny jokes. The set design's good. Will Ferrell's awful. He's miscast.
Yeah, there's no point. I mean, his character almost never points.
Of the movie. He's awful in it. Kate McKinnon didn't drive me insane like she usually does. I usually loathe every moment she's on screen anyway.
Still didn't like her,
but she was okay.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean,
okay. I read an article today too. There's a lot of Easter eggs in this movie in terms of that dog that pooped the plastic. That was a real toy from the 70s. Pregnant Barbie, the Skipper Barbie, some of the Kens, they were real. Also, keep in mind too that even though America Ferrera and her daughter set up this horrible world where the women were oppressed and just whatever, at the end of the movie, guess where Barbie chose to go? To that world, not staying in Barbie land where she had everything perfect and whatever. She decided to go to the real world.
This is a conservative film.
That's another point. If they wanted to force the agenda, she wouldn't have gone to this world.
No, exactly.
Men rule everything, and it's the good old boy network that's doing it. So,
and Andrew Haley made a good point too. Greta Gerwig's been signed on by Netflix to write and direct 2 Narnia films. That bothers the crap out of me. Because I look back to see what they did with Disney did with A Wrinkle in Time, which is a Christian allegory, and they completely made it universal and it just bombed like crazy. Narnia is a direct allegory to Christ.
Yeah.
Greta Gerwig is a relapsed Catholic. I don't know what she's going to do with this. I reserve judgment until I see it, but I do not look forward to what she's going to do with Narnia.
C.S. Lewis is a hack, and she can't do that much. She can't be that terrible.
Red hates. Didn't you forget that Red hates C.S. Lewis?
I don't care. I mean, but Narnia is good. The property is good. The books are good.
Tolkien's garbage too.
I mean, so is Christopher Nolan, but still.
Whoa!
He turns out one good thing every 3 years. Seriously.
Yeah, I was really.
He only directs a movie every 3 years.
Well, that's not the point. That's not the point.
The thing that surprised me the most, there was a lot of things that surprised me about the movie, but I was really surprised that Simu Lee and Bell, whatever his name is, Kingsley, they were able to do stuff and not outshine Ryan Gosling, but still have their moments. Like Ryan Gosling didn't totally outshine them, and they were really funny too. I mean, there was a lot of hilarious stuff in this movie.
The kids were the high point of the movie,
which is kind of ironic since the movie's called Barbie. But I mean,
it's a wise choice. I mean,
it's a smart choice to do it that way.
The movie was made not to alienate a bunch of people.
Because the other problem with it is none of the other Barbies really did much for me. Really, just like Margot Robbie was the only one that really mattered.
That's the point, though. They were all just standard Barbies with their Nurse Barbie, Dr. Barbie, President Barbie, whatever. They were all boring standard Barbies who took on some personality towards the end of the movie. But overall, I mean, I really liked the movie. Honestly, I think people, if you have reservations about it, go see the movie. If you don't like it, if people don't like the movie, they should not like the movie because they didn't like the story or the way it was set versus, well, I'm a conservative and I am as right wing as they come. Just FYI to the audience. I probably right of Rhett. But I watch these films.
Yeah,
I like Strange World with Disney. That had an agenda. I thought it was crap, and it was just a terrible movie. This one, I watch it sometimes with the glasses of, okay, what am I going to pick out of this movie? What kind of agenda are we picking out of here? And it was fine. It was fine.
It wasn't so
you're gonna
overt.
find anything in there.
It wasn't so in your face.
Exactly.
You cannot deny. Like, I'm not going to go as far as Rhett is in saying that there is an agenda.
There is. But
Well, like I said, with Baumbach and Greta writing this, there has to be. I mean, there will.
It's diluted, and it's not.
It is very diluted. It is very diluted.
Dangerous. It's not undermining the male rule or whatever
dangerous.
it is that people are worried about.
But I also don't think it's like this women-driven feminist agenda movie that the left is making it out to be either. It's not like this women rule.
You know, let me tell you, when I walked out of there, women were still making 76 cents on the dollar, so everything was okay. It's okay.
Let's get into myths. Yeah.
And what did they do at the end? They showed a whole montage about being a woman, about being a mother, about being a grandmother, about
and there was
children,
nothing weird
all
in
the
that
norms.
Surprising. It was
all the norms.
Weird in the
very
montage.
surprised.
And then the montage was fine. The montage was fine. It reinforced what it was. And then it was like, oh, to be a woman, you must have to have lady parts. So we're going to the gynecologist. That's interesting now that we know what a woman is. What? Interesting.
I have heard about the
montage.
montage.
Very transphobic movie.
Yeah, it really is. This movie's transphobic. I mean, it's a right-wing piece.
It's like random people's home video clips of women being
mothers.
Right.
Rhea Perlman talking about what it means to be a woman, you know.
And we were talking earlier about, we know that women and their children, their daughters are going to go and see this film. I think that clip was specifically, from what I've heard about that clip, was put in there for those.
It was almost like a Greta going, "Hey guys, I know we've done a lot of liberal feminine stuff in here, but hey, we also love motherhood too. So watch this. Just to make good, you know."
They wanted families to go see the movie because that's how they make money.
That's how you make money.
And Twitter aside, the nuclear family unit is still kind of the bread and butter of America anyway. It still exists, and you know, and that's so it's okay to cater to that.
I agree with Micah though. I wouldn't take anybody in 13 to 14 to see this movie.
I just that's just my personal thing. Like, I don't want my daughters to see it. I don't think they're ready for it yet because
I don't want your daughters to see it either.
Yeah,
my kid's not going to see it. I'm not taking my kid at all to see this movie.
Yeah. I
would take the little one if it wasn't so boring, and I'd have to entertain her for
like that's what I was trying to explain to my younger one, that she would just be bored with it.
Yeah,
because the kids obviously, like, it's brilliant marketing. Kids want to see the movie. It's pink, it's Barbie, but the problem is they didn't make a true, like, it's not a true Barbie movie. It's just it's not like the animated cartoon stuff that they have. It's different.
But they didn't market it right. But because they
okay, Ted, and Ted, that is one thing that I was bothered by a little bit, but I mean, it is kind of what it is. I mean,
it's a weird doll. It's a weird doll,
but that existed too. That was a real character.
Yeah, it was a real
doll
that they had to discontinue.
All right, so when are we going to talk about the blackening? Are we going to get to that one now?
I haven't seen the blackening. I did not see the blackening.
Oh, Garrett and I were talking about it. So. We can't talk about it first.
On the pregnant Barbie Midge, I did not. Yeah. I've seen it twice. I've seen Barbie twice. Okay. I did not notice that they were disgusted by her. They always did like a double.
I didn't notice either.
Call her right.
Well, I think she was discontinued because she was.
It is a little bit weird, and certainly if she's. And at that time, I don't know when Midge was released, but it was.
I think it was 60s.
Yeah, it was still nuclear family unit. Single motherhood was not a thing that was like glorified very much. And Ken and Barbie are they're not married, right? So I think that probably played into how that got. They used her as a joke a little bit, but it didn't feel particularly mean-spirited. And
no, it wasn't. It wasn't
pregnant as much as just, whoa, what in the world are you doing here? You're not a thing anymore.
It wasn't. It wasn't.
All right, I got to get out of here, guys. So I'm gonna bail because I got to put my kid to bed. So
all right, Dave.
Barbenheimer.
Look, I think we've done everything we can here tonight.
Oh.
It was a good week for me. I mean, last week was a great week for cinema.
For the box office, it was a great week for cinema.
I don't need to
because
go
from this point on, it's not going to look pretty.
Wasteland out there.
A wasteland.
Everything's getting pushed to 2025.
It could not be a wasteland, but anyway,
it depends on if the strikes get resolved, and they're not going to get resolved. Studios are not going to back down.
My understanding is the timeline for the actors one they're expecting in September, the writers further on. So, so they wouldn't delay things once the actors are back, but.
Because they need the actors to go promote their crap.
Yeah,
I mean,
they don't care about the writers.
They don't care about the
but we've discussed that a lot. The box office is a huge deal. We had 2 films released this week. 162, I think, was the Barbie's total on the weekend. Domestically, made like 330 worldwide. Oppenheimer made 82.4 million, which for a number 2 film, I think, is the highest for a number 2 film ever domestically.
Highest opening for a female director.
Yeah, it's best opening by a female director. Greta Gerwig. Greta Gerwig's attached herself to a really popular brand. And she's also a good filmmaker. I enjoyed Lady Bird. I enjoy Little Women.
Yeah, they're good. Little Women was like my number 1 that year, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember.
I was not my number 1. It was in my top 10 though, and I was surprised.
It was in my top 10 for sure.
I did not expect to like that.
Oh, I didn't either.
And I'm sure I'll enjoy at least some parts of Barbie if I don't enjoy the full film. But and I'll see it eventually. But yeah, I mean, this film.
You've got to watch Oppenheimer like 5 more times, though.
Yes, yeah. Well, this weekend is huge for movies, and yes, I do have tickets to Oppenheimer this Saturday in the world's tallest IMAX. I can't turn that down.
Is that 4th time or 3rd?
This will be the 3rd.
I thought you'd seen it 3 already.
I thought this was your 4th. Okay, yeah.
No, I wanted to do 3 times this weekend, but my parents were out of town, and I had to take care of the dogs, and I couldn't find time to do it.
Since Joker, right. Joker still had a higher opening.
And so look, Oppenheimer opening at 82.4 million,
surprising,
R-rated biopic talkie film.
Very surprising.
It's a good thing that Nolan made his talkie scenes, at least for the first 2 hours, seem like action scenes almost. I mean, there's There's just so much to it.
Some portion of that box office is gimmick, though. It's
much.
Related to the Barbenheimer experience. There are people who went to see Oppenheimer who would not have gone to see it if it hadn't been part of this pop culture thing.
Here's the problem. Weekend 2 is tracking really well right now. I mean, like 50% drops.
Well, that's a good point. Yeah, and that's
more than just the meme.
That's not Barbenheimer.
Yeah. That's people. Maybe they've seen the meme, but they're also going, I actually want to see that film. And yes, some people did go see it this weekend for the meme.
What's the cinema score on it? I don't know.
Both films got an A.
Both A, yeah.
Which is insane because I really thought Oppenheimer would get a B+ or something.
Yeah.
Nolan film. Not many Nolan films have gotten A's, by the way. I think that Dunkirk were the A's.
This was good. The moment
maybe Dark Knight.
Still trying to get his crowd together and drink another brewski beer in Los Alamos. I mean, that was a great scene.
It was the Los Alamos Dojo Casa House.
Yeah. Garrison, I think you will like Barbie. It's very difficult. Like, I went into Barbie so wanting to hate it. Like, I went in wanting to hate that movie because I went in knowing there was going to be an agenda and I wanted to hate it. But I no lie, I laughed so freaking hard.
I was next to him. Michael laughed his face off.
I could not control.
I had tears rolling.
I jumped out of my seat at one point. I was laughing so hard. I went, whoa, my God. Like, there's one scene on the beach when the guitar comes out that I lost it. I lost it.
He says, Ken's like, why don't I go inside and get I'll play the guitar at you, which was a great line.
I mean, I had so much fun in that. It's been a long time for me to have that much fun with a comedy in a theater. I mean, and that's another.
If I had dogs that weren't super reactive, I'd totally go to the movies with them. But I don't
think that dogs would do well in a movie theater.
Some dogs sit down.
Maybe some.
And
the ones that are trained to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. There were dog screenings of things recently. I can't remember what movie it was, but yeah.
Yeah, Melissa. No, I did. I mean, I did too. I didn't want to. Trust me, I did not want to. I went in with like mad conservative man face, and I came out just.
He had a booth set up next to the Barbie photo booth. It just a table that said "Barbie sucks, changed my mind."
Yes. I want to say, you're not taking my daughters from me, Barbieheimer or Barbie or whatever.
Not without my daughter. It's
Not without my daughters.
Like an Iranian had kidnapped.
Look, I'm still standing by that. I don't want, especially my very wanting to be influenced by everything she sees 12-year-old. I do not want her to see it. The 8-year-old probably just would think it was boring. But I mean, the 12-year-old, I do not want her to see it. But anyways, no, yeah, I mean, look,
again, yeah, that's right.
I don't know if I 100% agree with that. But yes,
there were positives and negatives for both, and it was a pretty even bag. And it just didn't force anything down your throat. I mean, everybody's conservatives flip out over the monologue from America, whatever, Ferraro. And it was a little heavy-handed, but it came from. But it was, I mean, it could have been worse. I mean, it was not as bad as I thought. It was really the female experience. And I don't remember her saying anything negative about men specifically, just that you have to, as women, we have to do this, we have to do that. She didn't talk about men at all in that monologue.
Well, the inference is because of the patriarchy.
She didn't say that.
She didn't say it.
Just that
is
this is the things that we have to do, and
anyways,
it just wasn't terrible.
Right. Yeah. No, it didn't beat you over the head. You're right. I mean, it certainly didn't. Which is real. Look, I'm very surprised.
It didn't beat you.
It didn't beat you over the head. I'm very surprised, based upon the screenwriters, that there wasn't anything more in that movie than. Anyways, but yeah.
So they were, Gary, I'm going to tell you one of the jokes right now. They were, they're out on the beach and they're about to have a little fight, and they start talking about beaching each other off.
Yes, I could beat
you.
Well,
that's in the preview. That's in the preview.
Was that the preview? Oh, I didn't even see that.
That was well, part, not the whole scene, but part of the scene.
In the trailer, they say I can beat you both off at the same time.
And I hate that when they ruin jokes in trailers.
Yeah.
They should.
I hadn't seen it, so it wasn't ruined for me. And
I had already seen that particular joke, but there was a lot of great stuff in it. I mean,
his job is beach.
Yes.
Yeah, his job is beach.
Not lifeguard, which most people.
And there's this one part where Gosling's just like so tenderly said, "What about beach?" I mean,
That sounds hilarious.
Scene that did not work, besides all the Will Ferrell stuff, which none of it worked.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, Will Ferrell's had his
when they get to the real world, they're skating through Santa Monica, wherever they are. And some rando just walks up and smacks Margot Robbie in the ass.
Would not happen.
Right?
That's not real.
That
none of that is
not
real.
Happen. Okay. Now, when some woman's going to charge in, and she's probably
punches the guy, right?
She's mad about it, and she's going to say that's happened to her or whatever.
I just don't believe that still happens.
She punches him, and I've seen the filming from the set. Someone posted it on Twitter recently, but I've seen it before. They cut it from the film apparently, but Gosling does his high-pitched shriek in that scene.
Yeah, he does not in the movie, but that would have been great. Maybe you hear it off camera. I don't know. Maybe
if you want to hear his high-pitched shriek, go watch The Nice Guys. And you can hear it.
Nice Guys is look. I laughed a lot at The Nice Guy. I mean, the two most recent movies I laughed the most at are Ryan Gosling movies.
He's a great comedic actor.
Yeah, but good, and like he's great in Blade Runner.
Yes,
I thought
he's a good dramatic actor.
Played it way down, which was right for that.
I think that he has a really good chance of getting a Best Supporting Actor nomination. Like I really think he has.
I've heard he does. Yes,
I think he has a good chance of it. But anyways, all right. Well, there's next week's going to be kind of boring because all we've got is the finale of Secret Invasion. Unless it's a great finale, who knows? I mean,
maybe I could report back with my Barbie thoughts.
Yeah, no, and maybe we can talk Barbie some more since Garrison will have newly seen Barbie. Unless Haunted Mansion is on your.
By then, the impact of all the messaging will have taken hold in the world, and will be totally ruled by women in all positions of power because of Barbie undermining society.
Whatever, Rhett. Garrison, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at GRYFUN3, GRYFUN3, and Instagram Oh wait, God, it's not Twitter anymore.
X.
X.
Good luck, Brent. Yeah, good luck with that copyright.
Yeah, whatever. That's just so dumb. Anyway, you can find me on Letterboxd where I will, I guess, be seeing Oppenheimer again this weekend and hopefully Barbie this week too. Yeah, I'm gonna get Barbie in too. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah,
I
you've
just
got a
gotta
whole
figure
week.
out what day that is.
Yeah, you got a whole week.
Yeah,
I mean, look, ticket sales it's tough to get a ticket right now in some cities.
I don't really care about what theater I see it in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's not like a big screen experience.
No, it's not necessarily. Yeah. Rhett, you want to be found anywhere?
Well, yeah, you can catch me Google image search looking at Margot Robbie. She's gorgeous. She's an Australian.
You ever start putting in other words with Margot Robbie? Maybe.
No. Okay, let's end this.
This.
I'm at the Michael Nib on Twitter. Deucecord. Everybody go to the Deucecord. Check us out there. Really appreciate the chat. I'm sorry. Melissa, Ted hung out. Andrew, Brian, some guy named Earl was in there. I don't know who that is. It's not our Earl. It's a different Earl completely. I mean, with that last name, I'm unfamiliar with that last name. I don't know who that is. No earthly idea. Hopefully we will have Roth back next week for the big finale of Secret Invasion. And then we've got to figure out what we're going to do for a couple weeks because I don't want to take a break, but we'll figure out what we're going to do until Ahsoka starts. Really appreciate everybody hanging out. Look, we're gaining traction with the subscribers, so please like, share, comment, do all the things, mash the bell, all that stuff, and we can get some more subscribers maybe. And till then, we will see you next week for the season finale of Secret Invasion. Everybody have a great night.